mentioned earlier, and I wish to welcome you once again to this 7th Nathan Anang Quao ceremony, Lecture and Excellence Awards, dubbed the Weberian Ideal of Political Neutrality Among Civil Servants, a review of the situation in Ghana. We are esteemed to have a great speaker to lecture us on this theme. And without much ado, I wish to introduce some dignitaries we have here in observance of this year's ceremony. We have so as and when they come, we acknowledge them. We also have the Minority Leader of Parliament. We are expected to have them. The General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. Please, if you are there, you give us a wave offering. General Secretary of Conventions People's Party. We are also privileged to have the Regional Secretary of the Public Services International in the person of Daniel Obeko, also here with us. These departmental heads of ministries, departments, and agencies. We have CLOCSAC regional secretaries and executives of the regional secretariats also here. Please, let's give it up for them, our very own. We also have CLOCSAC local reps here, MDAs. Let's give it up for them for the attendance. CEO and directors of Hedge Pensions Trust. Also, all right, thank you for coming. The president and executives of CLOCSALAC, thank you for coming. The chairman, Public Services Commission, also expected to be here. We also have a former head of civil service, Mr. Kemevo, also in our midst. Thank you, sir, for coming. Also, we have Nana Etiokum Jamina, former head of civil service. We are expected to have his attendance. All right, and moving on to invited unions and associations. We have the Secretary General, TUC, expected to be here. If we have a rep, please acknowledge the honor. We also have the Secretary General, Ghana Federation of Labor, the General Secretary, Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAC. We're also expecting to have the General Secretary, Ghana Association of Certified Registered Anesthetists, also here. The President, Government Hospital Pharmacists Association. Please, let's give it up for them. Once they are not here, we are acknowledging that they will be here by the mercies of God. We're also expecting to have the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, the President of the association, the President of the Ghana Medical Association, the President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ghana, the President, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT. Thank you for coming. The General Secretary of Ghana National Association of Teachers, the Administrative Secretary, UTAG. Okay, so my co-MC is continuing to acknowledge the dignitaries. Thank you.
Continue to acknowledge people present. We have Dr. Evans A. Jikum, the former president of ClockSAG. Please wave by hand if you are here. We have Mrs. Rodalyn A. Mensah Amwaku, the former vice president of ClockSAG. We have in our midst Gomda and Associates. Please, if you are here, show us a hand. We have Professor Kwame Na Ahoy of Accra. We have Nana Atu Dadzi, the former chief of staff, Accra. We have the executive secretary of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee, IMCC, Accra. We also acknowledge the presence of the president of the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, Accra. The president of the National Union of Ghanaian Students Association, NUCS. Please give us a hand if you're here. All right, so we have invited civil society organizations here. We have the director, Imani Ghana. We have the director, Institutes for Economic Affairs. We have the director, Center for Democratic Development. We have the executive director of the Institute for Democratic Government. We have Mawena Doche, the Maple Consult, Tesano Accra. We have Dr. Justice Youngson, Ghana Medical Association. So we acknowledge our own, the Executive Secretary of ClockSAG, Dr. Isaac Bampuado. We continue with the acknowledgement. We acknowledge the presence of Professor Justice Nyigba Bawole. Please forgive me if I murdered your name. The University of the Ghana, Legon. We have Professor Joseph Achu Ayi, Political Science Lecturer of the UOG. All right, so we want to take our attention to the screen as we watch a short documentary of the man we are celebrating today, Nathan Anang Quao. Please, let's stay. Sorry, we have a bit of a sound challenge, but we'll rectify it very soon.
Hello. We plead for your tolerance in the technical challenge. Please help me welcome the Executive Secretary of ClockSAG to give us the welcome address.
the chairperson of the Civil Service Council, my own mother, the head of civil service, the rep of the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, members of the Civil Service Council, my own boss, Mr. Ralph Tufuo, Controlling Accountant General Staff, Mr. Kemewo, all protocol observed. The Supreme Court, in its ruling on 14 June 2017, stated that an effective civil service is essential to modern-day democratic society, and a measure of neutrality is necessary in order to preserve that effectiveness. No civil servant must owe or be seen to owe appointment or promotion to partisan activities, since visible partisanship by civil servants would severely impair, if not destroy, the public perception of neutrality. CLOSAC endorses the concept and has pursued policies that would deepen its implication in the services. Since the Supreme Court ruling on the neutrality principle, CLOSAC continues to play its part in ensuring that workers in the civil and local government services see the importance of being a civil servant only and not both a civil servant and a politician at the same time. CLOSAC's constant education of members on the neutrality principle has made them to realize the consequences of contesting and being appointed into the district assemblies. In this regard, government appointees who are civil servants have not been exempted. The theme for this year's edition of Anang Annual Lectures and Excellence Awards, that's the Weberian ideal of political neutrality among civil servants, a review of the situation in Ghana, would enlighten us more on the neutrality principle and its relevance in our work. Current events have made it clear that neutrality in the civil and local government services is paramount. Even the existing Galamsey concerns indicate that if the MDAs and MMDAs were left to perform their tasks, we would not have been where we are now. State institutions administered through a decentralized local governance structure are responsible for formalizing and regulating mining activities and ensuring that illegality is exposed and curtailed. Thus, the political will to fight and eradicate Galamsey must be seen from DCEs and MCEs, who can galvanize support from traditional rulers, community members, regulatory agencies to ensure compliance with pollution avoidance mechanism, prevent mining in environmental sensitive areas, and implement frameworks for allocating concessions that are mined in a sustainable manner and reclaimed to restore their ecological integrity. It is time for us to evaluate the democracy that has characterized governance under the Fourth Republic to ascertain whether this type of governance is helping us to develop as a nation. Welcoming you to this forum, it's our hope that our August guest speaker would shed more light on the relevance of the nature of democracy that will promote national development. Let us all participate in the discussions. Thank you. God bless you.
Red roses too. I see them for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sharp night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, eyes on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry. Won't watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I've ever known. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah. Oh yeah. Do we live in the wonderful world? The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, eyes on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry. Won't watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I've ever known. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Za 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 za. And I think to myself, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Indefatigable Clocksack Band. Shall we give it up better for them? All right, there's no dull moments with them. So before we have brief remarks from our distinguished guests, I wish to acknowledge the Civil Service Council members in our presence. Justice Henrietta A. Aban, retired. Please, shall we give it up for her? Also, we have Mrs. Dinah Hammond. Justice Mrs. Dinah Hammond, sorry. Also, we have Nana Oyebampo Ado, Chief Executive Director of Human Rights Advocacy Center.
Okay, we also acknowledge the presence of Ambassador retired Ben Agar.
Okay, and we acknowledge the presence of all awardees. Thank you. Please, let's give it up for them, all awardees for this year's ceremony. Without much ado, we have the head of civil service giving us a brief remarks. Please, let's clap for him whilst he mounts the podium. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, MC, for the good work thus far. We recognize the chair of the Civil Service Council, who combines two names of my sisters, Rose and Constance, the first one and the ninth one. So, and then the other members of the Civil Service Council, in whom I'm always pleased. We recognize the former head of the Civil Service, Mr. Kemevo. The Control and Accountant General Department is heavily represented by, some of our able men and women there, deputy controllers. We recognize you. Let me recognize my own friend and students and the one who has been invited to deliver this important lecture, Professor Ransford Jampo. We call him Rev Jampo, citizen. Sometimes when people say the university professor, a professor cannot just also be another lecturer. So when it's a professor, he's a professor. You understand? So a professor of the university, so there's that upward movement. Let me recognize the Executive Secretary of CLOSAC, the indefatigable, Doc. Yes, and then of course the other executives of the CLOSAC. I'll recognize the former Auditor General, Mr. Ralph Tufuo, and all awardees. We'll recognize ambassadors. Once ambassador, always an ambassador, right? Once you are a teacher, everywhere you can become the president, they will call you teacher, you understand? So once an ambassador, always an ambassador. Let me take this opportunity also to recognize the representatives of our political parties. I can see some of our chief directors, Ministry of Sanitation, Water Resources Chief Director is here. Noah Tumfo, recognize you. Recognizing other representatives of the political parties, directors of the civil service. Let me also recognize our distinguished guests, representatives of the various trade unions and associations, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOSAC. We are also privileged to have some virtual audience, and we need to recognize them. The one who is representing the head of the local government service. We begat the local government service, so you don't recognize your children at your own peril, right? So we recognize a rep who happens to be the regional coordinating director of Greater Accra region. And then we recognize you. So we also recognize our media professionals. And then let me not forget the irresistible CLOSAC band, for those melodious tunes, putting body and soul together. The Greeks always had a very important curriculum, and that curriculum always included music, because the soul needs music. So thank you very much for your performance thus far. Let me recognize our ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. On behalf of the Ghana Civil Service and on my own part, I want to congratulate CLOSAC on the occasion of the 7th Annual Quao Lectures and Awards. Indeed, CLOSAC has been phenomenal and contributed significantly to the needs and aspirations of its constituents. I'm talking about the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana. I therefore join hands with the staff to say aiko to the successive leaders of this group, of this union, and the great effort in ensuring that the staff welfare and industrial peace and harmony prevails. Very important. We can only develop within an atmosphere of peace and harmony. And thus far, yes, it doesn't mean that there's a dull conformism. They have always pursued, the interests of the association, but also paying due cognizance to the fact that indeed industrial harmony is necessary for productivity enhancement. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have not gathered here to just award CLOSAC members or people who have distinguished themselves in the cause of serving this country, but also to remind ourselves of the neutral role that the civil and local government staff will have to play in the architecture of our governance. I'm therefore elated that the theme for this year's occasion, the Weberian ideal of political neutrality among civil servants, a review of the situation in Ghana, which seeks to remind us of our expected roles devoid of partisan and parochial considerations to achieve the original intent of the public bureaucracy. And Max Weber, that we are actually touching, literally worshiping at his shrine this morning, one of the towering figures of the sociological thought, articulated the concept of ideal bureaucracy, a system of administration that is defined by hierarchy, professionalism, and most importantly, neutrality. In his view, civil servants were to observe or were to serve the state with diligence, with meticulousness, with neutrality, among others. And they were to be neutral agents executing their duties based on laws, regulations, and established procedures without favoritism or political influences. And as you are aware, and I'll just relate to same, because the distinguished lecturer is well versed in these matters, and I will not be preaching to the convert. I don't want to go into the subject matter. But let me remind all of us that the bureaucracy, the public bureaucracy, is important for the purpose of administration of the state. We offer critical policy advice. We have to maintain high level of political neutrality. The issue of our permanence is important. And of course, we live by a certain public service ethos, and that we do not need to be forced to be political neutral. It is actually inherent in the way we are recruited, the way we are trained, and then the way we operate. These are inherent in these very, very fundamental principles. In the course of our delivery, ladies and gentlemen, we articulate and sometimes aggregate interests, of our state. When we deliver on all fronts and fire on all cylinders, what we'll be doing invariably is that we ensure high level of political stability, because we focus on continuity within the political system. And as civil servants, ensure that government is conducted in an orderly and reliable fashion, making the actions of individuals, politicians, among others, much more predictable. So it's not about somebody dreaming and saying that tomorrow something must be done, but our activities are based on established procedures, and there's high level of, as I said, longevity of our serving and so on. So I'm very confident that the guest speaker, as I related to, will delve deeper into the subject matter, and therefore I will not actually attempt any overview. Now, if you look at the Ghanaian context, colleagues, Ghana is a beacon of democracy. And in a democracy, you cannot pick and choose. There's a democratic imperative that those who are affected by a decision invariably must have a way of influencing that decision. We have had some power alternations, 2010, 2000, 2008, 2016. So by the yardstick established by Samuel P. Huntington, Ghana's democracy has matured. It's somewhat we call the 2-10-over test, and we have passed that test with distinction, making us a viable democracy, emerging democracy, even though academics and practitioners are not in agreement as to whether it's a transitional democracy, and I know Jampo will relate to that, whether ours is a transitional democracy or we have consolidated our democracy, or our democracy is still skin deep and there's still a work in progress, something that I'm certain he will relate to. We know that if you touch base with Article 284 of our Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, the most stable of our Constitution, a civil servant shall avoid a situation where the personal interests of that civil servant, yes, conflict or are likely to conflict with the performance of its functions of the office, and so on. What we are suggesting is that the civil servant should avoid a situation where, in the delivery of his functions, his personal interest will not conflict. Historically, we have struggled, to challenge, with the challenge of maintaining a professional and politically neutral civil service. That's something that we've struggled. But civil servants invariably are the backbone of our public administration, responsible for implementing the policies of elected officials. And if you check the Section 2 of the Civil Service Act, the object is simple, that we assist government in the formulation and implementation of public policies and programs. If you check Section 3 then gives the functions of the civil service in broad strokes, including, as I said, advising on policy, undertaking such research that is necessary to enhance the delivery, among others, of public policies and so on. What is important for us for today is this importance of neutrality. And neutrality, to all intents and purposes, will ensure some level of continuity and stability. It will uphold the public trust. And Jampo will touch base with the fact that if people trust the government or people trust the state, then even when the state is not delivering, they are sympathetic evaluators. Even when the short-term benefits of the policies and programs are not manifest, they still want to support the system to be able to deliver because they trust the system. We uphold the public trust. We're promoting professionalism and competence, and we also guard against corruption, which is becoming, some of the issues that we will deal with as we move on. Of course, we also want to avoid, political pressures and intimidation, and we are protected in the delivery of our public goods to our people. Even though Max Weber's ideal is a mental construct and it's an analytical construct, at least you need to dream dreams to be able to make progress. And so we want to measure up to that ideal and see how we can maintain that high level of neutrality so that we can deliver on our mandate religiously. It's the reason I find this lecture extremely important. Public perception that civil servants are politically biased can be just as damaging as the actual bias. Public confidence in the civil service erodes when citizens believe that decisions are based on political favoritism rather than fairness or competence. The person for which we have gathered here, Mr. Nathan Quao, stood for political neutrality and exemplified it as a true statesman and a civil servant. I therefore urge all civil service staff, especially in this election year, to stay neutral and not forget the Supreme Court ruling which the Executive Secretary related to and alluded to. Between CLOSAC, the Attorney General Office of the Head of Civil Service Office of the Head of the Local Government Service, which has clarified the law relating to the participation of staff of the civil service and the local service in political activities. We should not forget, colleagues, that once culpable and we find that you're engaging in partisan political consideration, we'll activate the necessary procedural imperatives to at least take the person through what sometimes I refer to as a narrow path of bureaucratic righteousness, which we will exact. Let us remember the object of the service that I've alluded to. And I'm certain that we will be able to deliver on our mandate, And of course, it is also important to keep in mind that the core ideals and the concept of the service, which is professionalism, leadership, loyalty, integrity, selflessness, neutrality, that we all want to be part. Let me conclude by saying that it is wise to draw the conclusion that Mr. Nathan Quao was a model staff of the civil service and the public service who adhered to the standards and ethics of the profession. In light of this, and in accordance with the Civil Service Code of Conduct, employees of the civil service are required to do their jobs with the utmost loyalty and impartiality and neutrality. This allows for the advancement of the national welfare, the public good, or the general will, and the maintenance of the state business continuity. I urge all CLOSAC members to avoid engaging in active partisan politics, and to be more committed to following the footsteps that Nathan Quao, followed, and of course, lived. And I also admonish all of us to operate as impartial actors. That way, continuity is enhanced, and then, of course, we can ensure high level of development of our country. On this note, and with these few words, I want to wish all of us a happy celebration. Long live the Ghana Civil Service. Long live our nation, Ghana. Thank you for your attention, and may God the Almighty bless us all and make our nation great and strong. And it should not be said, civil servant, it should not be said that when we were in charge, we did not deliver. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you, Head of Service, Dr. Agridaku, for the brief remarks. All right, so before the next before the next acknowledgement to give us a brief remarks, I wish to acknowledge the presence of the former Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, now the Director of Interparty and Civil Society Relations, in the person of Dr. Peter Buama Otukuno. He's here with us. Welcome. We also have member and then Interparty and Civil Society Relations Committee, Mr. Kwame, also with us. Thank you for coming, sir. Member Interparty and Civil Society Relations Committee, Mr. Prince Ankra, here with us. Thank you for coming. We are also privileged to have the Deputy Minister of Employment, in the person of Honorable Bright Reku Brobe, also the MP for Heman Lower Dentra, also with us. Welcome, sir. Without any further talk, I wish to welcome to the podium a representative who is the Chief Director of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, Mrs. Baker, to give us a brief remarks. Thank you. On behalf of the Head of Local Government Service, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm here to read the remarks of the Head of Local Government Service. He would have wished to be here himself personally to deliver the remarks, but an equally important assignment has taken him out of town. So he has asked me to read his remarks on his behalf. The chairperson of the Civil Service Council, members of the Civil Service Council, the head of Civil Service, the Deputy Minister, Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, the Executive Secretary of CLOSAC, Professor Ransford Jampo, our guest speaker, distinguished senior citizens present here, political party representatives here present, CSOs here present, the chief directors of various ministries here present, members of CLOSAC, the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. I bring with me warm felicitations from the management and staff of the Office of Head of Local Government Service. I express my sincere appreciation to the Executive Secretary and his able team for providing the Civil Service and Local Government Service Staff Association of Ghana with the required leadership and ensuring the successful organization of the 7th edition of the highly renowned Nathan Quao Excellence Award. Undeniably, members of CLOSAC have a strong force to reckon with. The theme for this year's award ceremony, the Weberian ideal of political neutrality among civil servants, a review of the situation in Ghana, could not have come at a more appropriate time than today, especially as we brace ourselves up for the December 7th presidential and parliamentary elections. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, In 2017, in the case of the Civil and Local Government Service Association of Ghana versus the Attorney General and 2 others, the Supreme Court held that a member of the Civil and Local Government Service cannot contest for elections other than local government elections or hold a political party position. It is, however, regrettable to learn that despite the crucial functions civil service and local government workers play, the involvement of some sections of staff in partisan politics has become a ban to effective service delivery, though the governing board of the local government service in the past had taken a very stringent position to dismiss staff found to be culpable in same. As the head of service, I have had the unpleasant duty of penalizing staff by applying the rule when they are violated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is significant to mention that being politically active blurs the lines between politics and professional rules. It tends to negatively affect service delivery, especially in terms of policy and project implementation. As an association, I wish to impress upon you to call the members of your association to order, to desist from involving in partisan politics. We must recognize that as a service, we strictly owe our allegiance to the government of the day and not political parties. Ladies and gentlemen, as a service, we recognize the crucial role CLOSAC plays in ensuring discipline and promoting the interests of members. Our gathering here today once again reaffirms our unrelenting desire and firm commitment to provide for the public interest. The Office of Head of Local Government Service is committed to working together with the CLOSAC to provide the needed support to build a highly skilled and competent staff for the provision of effective and client-oriented services. Congratulations to all the deserving recipients of the Nathan Quao Excellence Award, and thank you all for your unwavering commitment to excellence. In conclusion, I'm optimistic that today's ceremony will set the tone for a fruitful discussion and rejuvenate our commitment to build a strong civil and local government service that is grounded on the principles of political neutrality to deliver on our mandate. Thank you all for your attention, and may God bless us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Madam. At this juncture, we welcome the Secretary to the NDC Manifesto Committee and Chair of the NDC Gender Committee, in the person of Nana Oyebamfado.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and good morning to you. The head of the Civil Service, Chair of the Civil Service Council, our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Jampo, Executive Secretary of the Civil Service, Dr. Isaac Bampoado. I wish to stand on all protocols. I would wish to call my big brother, Comrade Dr. Otokono, to join me as a member of the NDC Manifesto Committee. Thank you. We bring you warm greetings from the flag bearer of the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and also from the National Chairman of the NDC, Comrade Honorable Asiedo Inketia, and the entire rank and file of the NDC. We congratulate you on the occasion of the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Lecture here this morning. We also align fully with the civil service on your ideals, and indeed our ideals as a social democratic party of political neutrality of the civil service. As the biggest social democratic party, one of the biggest in Africa, we fully support the ideals of political neutrality and the full integration of these ideals through programs, plans, interventions, and laws, as the Supreme Court has ruled in the case that our lady referred to in her earlier speech. Because the executive arm of government is a key, integral, strategic arm of government, and political neutrality of civil servants is very, very important. And so recognizing the need for political neutrality and also good governance, we in the NDC are all for the development of a strong democracy. We have launched our Resetting Ghana manifesto. And when you read chapter 6 of our manifesto, you'll find out that we have clearly articulated our policy proposals on good governance. Not only good governance, we have also looked at centralizing local government, ensuring that it is decentralized in every sense of the word. We've also looked at proposals to ensure justice for all under governance, and also a security and intelligence framework fit for a 21st century which is technology-driven and which seeks to come up with a sound economy. So I will just give you a few of our proposals on good governance. The first is that we're looking at reducing the size of government by appointing not more than 60 ministers. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has made a social contract with the people of Ghana and articulated clearly that this will be done within the first 14 days of his appointment or his election as the President of Ghana. We are going to address the disparities between Article 71 office holders and the wider public service and scrap payment of ex gratia. We will establish an independent emoluments commission by merging the Presidential Commission on Emoluments and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as recommended by the Constitutional Review Commission. We will reduce the number of political appointees at the Office of Government Machinery. We will also launch Operation Recover All Loot to investigate, prosecute, and recover proceeds of corruption. We will establish a state assets registry to effectively protect state assets, usher in an era of transparency and accountability in the management of state assets. We will set up an inquiry into the matter of looted state lands and the implementation of the Accra redevelopment policy and make recommendations as appropriate. We will also collaborate with the judiciary to establish a special court for persons against whom adverse findings have been made by the Auditor General and Parliament. We will support the Auditor General to enforce the surcharge powers of his or her office to retrieve embezzled funds with interest and review and enforce the asset declaration regime. We will review and look at we will review the National Long-Term Development Plan and establish a governance advisory council comprising representatives from civil society organizations, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and ordinary Ghanaians. We will regularly engage with organized labor and civil society organizations on national development issues to ensure transparency, accountability, and good governance. This is what we have and a lot more. Please read our Resetting Ghana agenda. We really value the work that you do as a civil service, and we as a political party waiting to come into government in January 2025 commit to an efficient run government that will ensure that all of us as Ghanaians realize our ideals of the 1992 Constitution, ideals of accountability, ideals of transparency, and also ideals of a corrupt-free Ghana. We congratulate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for her. Thank you so much, Nana Oye Bamfado. Please, do we have a rep from the NPP? All right, so we move on to CPP, and we will be joined by Godfred Opari-Addo. Mr. Opari-Addo, your time. Please, let's do it. Let's keep clapping until he gets here.
Well, good morning, comrades. This is the greetings from the CPP, and I stand on all the protocols that have been mentioned here. My sister Oyelucha has really come out with the whole thing. But what I ordered to tax is that, not to take much of the time, the 24-hour economy by the former president is coming into place. So I plead with all civil servants and all labor organizations, even though we are standing on a neutral platform, to support this agenda. It is going to enlarge and strengthen the labor and civil servants organizations, whereby we will have enough energy to check governments that come into office. So that now later, I won't add more to what you have said, but the CPP is really waiting for the emergence of the 24-hour economy. Thank you.
So much, sir. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Godfred Opari-Addo. He is a rep from the CPP. We have to join us Ambassador Retired Ben Egan. He is the Secretary of Cabinet under Professor Atta Mills. Please keep clapping till he gets here.
A very good morning to all of us here. And I will also stand on all the protocols already rendered. I was asked to give a few remarks not very long ago. So you can see I'm here without any paper, and that's very much unlike me. But the invitation was to say a couple of words about the person that we are celebrating, for whom this 7th lecture is being organized, Mr. Nathan Quao. Now, it happened that yesterday, again with a couple of days' notice, I was invited to an interview. The CLOSAC interviewed me for more than an hour and a half. So I thought that all that I had said was going to be enough for anyone interested in the subject. But suffice it to say that Mr. Nathan Quao's place in history is indeed highly remarkable, and no other person articulated it better than the man who invited him to his government at age 87. 87, most of us who have retired would have been tired and tired over. But he came back, and I recall that he really made a big difference between what many people worried about the PNDC in its approach to governance. He brought a lot of stability, and also did by inviting some of his friends. I remember very much another one who played such a role, Justice D.F. Anang. And those of you who followed governance at that time will know that getting onto our democracy was largely led by him. And no wonder he also became the Speaker of Parliament. So Mr. Nathan Quao, if any of you watch the clip that was done on him about 2 years ago, and I hope that CLOSAG will continue repeating that, all those people who spoke about him were apt and straight to the point. But one thing that I remember was a comment by Professor Kwamna Hoy and also Mr. Atudazi, that he was a man who, by training and experience, would say nothing in a meeting as if he had nothing to say, but invite him, and then you will get complete summary of what had gone on with a clear advice that you could not shake. So that was the quality of some of our forerunners in the civil service. Along with him, I remember late Mr. G.K. Saki, late Mr. ESI, and among leading public servants who also made a difference, Ambassador Asante, and then also Mr. Jimmy Phillips. These are all people that we should keep in view as we move forward with our civil service. But as I go to take my seat, I'll remind you of a quote that I treasured, and it helped me respond to the questions that were put to me with very little notice, was that Mr. Nathan Quao did say that it is the perfection of the civil service that will move a nation forward, not the politicians.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Mr. Egan, for the brief remarks. We'll be having a documentary on the prominent man for the day, and I hope my technical team is ready. Okay, so please, we are reminded that this event is live on Clock TV, and please, the QR code will be shared. Kindly scan and then share.
The late
Thank you.
Anang Quao was born in Adoso at Equiapem in the Eastern Region on November 21, 1915. Young Nathan had his elementary education at the Basel Scottish Mission Infant Junior School at Adoso. He then continued at Banner Hill Middle School, a boys' boarding school famous for its Spartan lifestyle and a tradition of strict Presbyterian discipline. Between the period of 1932 and 1935, he enrolled at Accra Academy for secondary education and also participated in the Cambridge School Certificate exams, which he passed with distinction. A year after, the late Nathan became a tutor of English at Accra Academy Secondary School between 1936 to 1952. After 23 years of distinguished service in the teaching profession, the late Nathan Quao decided to join the diplomatic missions in 1959 to 1966. In 1969, when constitutional rule was established, he was appointed as Secretary to the Presidential Commission during the government of Dr. K.A. Buzia. And from January 1970, he was made the Secretary to the Council of State and later Secretary to the Cabinet under the presidency of Chairman Rawlings.
Mr. Nathan Quao was one of the most respected civil servants. A man at the age of 87, by that time, 70 onwards, 67, our handwriting becomes not as smooth as when we were young. Mr. Nathan Quao's writing was as smooth as if he was still a young man. His brain power was just as lucid as a young man. The man understood a sense of discipline at that age. Even at Chambom's regime, attempted or tried to use his services, his efficiency, his integrity, his honesty. We cannot allow Mr. Nathan Quao to just pass away without something in his memory.
Due to his dedication to duty, the former president, John Ejokunkufo, honored him with 2 state awards. Netani Anang Quao proved himself trustworthy and became the head of civil service.
He was a man who worked under about 5 or 6 different opposing regimes. His promotions were almost once a year.
Once we are honoring such a man, it helps us. It's like a wake-up call to all of us in service currently to say that, guys, some years ago, there was this man, and he served his country with dedication, with diligence. He served not wanting to get personal gains.
Due to his vast experience in public service, the late Nathan mentored 2 prominent Ghanaians, Professor Kwame Nahoy and Nana Tudazi.
I actually recollect an event where after we had started implementation and the 45 new districts had been created, in addition to the then existing 65, a very serious rift occurred between the Menya-Krobo district and the Dangbe East district with respect to a certain settlement called Matriku. He was very blunt in his finding and in his recommendation, and I found that astounding because normally civil servants are not that blunt. Finally, the matter ended up in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court actually ruled in favor of Mr. Nathan Quao's recommendation.
His temperance, he was a very modest person and really was the kind of person who weighed his actions, and he was not into excesses, into drinking or whatnot. Very, 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 very modest person for his achievements, overall achievements. He was reticent until you ask him a question, he wouldn't. He would sit in a meeting 8 hours without a comment, But if you ask him his views, he offer it.
Throughout his multifaceted career, Nathan Quao used his rich experience in teaching, diplomacy, and public service to make substantial contributions to many national institutions.
There are certain times when you are asked to do what you think that is not good for Ghana. It's your business to get to your masters and explain why you think that certain aspects of the policy they want will not be good for Ghana. Otherwise, you can't be a civil servant.
In addition to having competent public servants, the bureaucrats, you need also, the political leadership that will be well conversant with what we call the public services.
Regardless of which party is in power, you give all of you to the government of the day. And this cut across all the governments I Mr. Nathan Quao served.
The late Nathan in family circles was described as a giant's tree of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
One day we're eating and he said, "Oh, I'd overfed." So, and that gentlemen don't eat that way. So then, in essence, if I wanted to be a gentleman, then I should watch how I eat and the quantity I So he was teasing me and said, "Oh, gentlemen don't eat that way." But that was it. He never used any K.
He didn't like publicity. And the example I would give was when he was appointed as a presidential staffer. He didn't want any announcement to be made.
A command was respect, bule, because ke babie ke gbeke bi jine jiu onupa jine jiu na awie ewi oya na yo na fe ne tashi din ekwe
So we'll pause here. We'll pause here. Thank you, media team. And invite Clocksack Band to give us a musical interlude.
Arise, Ghana youth, for your country.
Kindly scan the QR code displayed so you share the link with others who are not here.
Let us all unite to uphold her and make us great and strong. We are all evolved. We are all evolved. We are all evolved in building a motherland. We are all evolved. We are all evolved. We are all evolved in building a motherland. Arise, Ghana youth, for your country. The nation demands your devotion. Let us all unite to uphold her and make her great and strong. We are all evolved. We are all evolved. We are all evolved in building a motherland. We are all evolved. We are all evolved. We are all evolved in building a motherland.
We are all indeed involved. I asked Nanayao Asari to join me to introduce the guest speaker for the day.
The Chair of the Civil Service Council, members of the Civil Service Council, former and current heads of the Ghana Civil Service, the Executive Secretary of CLOCSAG, President and other executives of CLOCSAG, friends from academia, reps of unions and associations, reps of political parties, all protocols duly observed. I deem it a great honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Born on 31st March 1977 in Accra, Ghana, he is a professor of political science and the founding director of Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. With 20 years of teaching and research experience, he holds a PhD in political science from the University of Ghana and Tufts University, USA. His research interests includes governance, leadership, public administration, democracy, electoral studies, and African politics. For a decade, he coordinated the Ghana Political Parties Program, GPPP, fostering dialogue between political parties on national issues. His work led to significant contributions to Ghana's democracy, including drafting a key legislation such as the Presidential Transition Act, the Right to Information Act, and proposals for electoral reforms. Our guest speaker is currently serving as the president of the University of Ghana branch of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UG-UTAG, advocating for better labor conditions for university teachers. He comes from Salt Pond in the central region and Latte in the eastern region of Ghana. He's married with 3 children and a Christian of the Pentecostal faith. It's also worthy of note that our guest speaker is also has a refreshing sense of humor, you know. He says his career in political science, if he hadn't taken off,
he would have been on TV debating sports or coached the Black Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all, with a standing ovation, welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Professor Ransford Edward Van Jampo.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, distinguished people gathered herein. I want to see all protocols observed. A lot of people feel that I am not an afraid man. I am not intimidated. I am bold, I'm courageous, I'm confident, but Ubia was a master. I have my own fears and I have what intimidates me. Now, one of the things that intimidates me as a person is to be at a function like this with people who trained me, people who taught me, and people who made me who I am. Because then you are seeing your bosses, you are seeing your teacher, and he's going to be marking whatever you are saying. And it is intimidating, it is not comfortable at all. So Dr. Agridakon taught me. He was part of those who made me who I am. And thinking about going through what I've written, essentially, I see him in everything I want to say because he taught me. And so I don't know whether I'm going to be right or even wrong. And good to see you, sir. And thanks for the role that you played in bringing me up like this. I appreciate you, I admire you, and I celebrate you, sir. Okay, so let's give it up to him. My teacher. So the Weberian, it's not Weberian, even though it's W, it's Max Weber. So the Weberian ideal of political neutrality among civil servants, a review of the situation in Ghana. So when we talk about the civil service, which is also known as the civil bureaucracy, essentially it refers to the complex organization assigned to perform specific tasks in administrative and political governance of a country. It is also known as the administrative machinery of the state, comprising the massed ranks of civil servants and public officials who are charged with the task of assisting in the formulation and implementation of governmental policies and business. The German sociologist Max Weber, who gave the ideal concept of the civil service of civil bureaucracy, and whose work on the nature of the civil bureaucracy is considered by many as the most of its kind or a masterpiece taxonomy, defines the civil bureaucracy as an impersonal system operating on calculable rules, staffed by full-time and professionals, as opposed to political party partisan, appointees. For the civil bureaucracy to effectively play its role as administrative machinery of the state and to assist in the formulation and implementation of policies, Max Weber outlined some features. Notable among them is the idea of political neutrality. But before the idea of political neutrality is discussed or interrogated as the focus of this very brief presentation that I want to make, it is important for us to delve a bit into some of the general features of the Weberian ideal type civil service that stands it out and makes it a competent administrative machinery of the state. This is because it is only after doing this or going through this exercise or process that the discussion of political neutrality among civil servants can be made more meaningful. So first of all, when Max Weber, according to Max, first of all, for Max Weber, the civil bureaucracy, as indicated earlier, is an ideal type based on a system of rational rules as opposed to tradition or charisma. In every civil bureaucracy, according to him, jurisdictional areas are fixed and officials are ordered by rational, formal, and impersonal rules. This means every official has a specified function to perform, and these functions are not done arbitrarily. Functioning and the activities of civil servants are regulated by rules that are known and that are applied to everybody. Second, within the ideal type civil service, there is, according to him, an ordered hierarchy or structure which ensures that subordinates are supervised by higher officials within a laid down chain of command. Business is managed on the basis of written documents and filing system in a manner that ensures that bureaucrats do not do or act in any way they please. Their discretionary powers are confined to prescribed pattern of conduct imposed by legal, rational, formal rules that are impersonally applied. Third, appointment, recruitment, transfers, and promotions of civil servants are expected to be based on merits and professional criteria such as training, expertise, competence, meritocracy, and patronage. The merit principle in appointments and promotions stipulates that positions within the civil service should be filled by best qualified persons on the basis of competitive requirement. This principle is to be distinguished from the spoil system under which public offices are filled by political patronage. Again, to give them the needed experience and competence to function as administrative machinery of the state, civil servants hold office permanently till they retire, serving all governments and regimes that gets to power. In other words, bureaucrats have what we call stability or security of tenure, and this is to have them remain in office and work permanently till they reach their retirement age. This organizing principle is to protect the civil servants from arbitrariness or unnecessary governmental attempts to remove them or dismiss them. The principle of security of tenure again reinforces the idea that the bureaucracy is made up of a professional corps of men and women who have pledged to faithfully execute their functions and to serve every government. But the idea of security of tenure in this context does not mean that bureaucrats can never be dismissed. On the contrary, bureaucrats who are found to be negligent, incompetent, or corrupt, according to Weber, must be subjected to a range of disciplinary actions, including dismissals. However, discipline is not meted out to civil servants by the politician, but by disciplinary bodies within the civil service that operates at arm's length from government in order to ensure impartiality. It should also be noted that governments, yes, have wide powers to lay off civil servants for budgetary reasons or as part of the need to reorganize government departments, ministries, and agencies. However, in reducing the number of civil servants, the government may not single out a particular individual for dismissal in a deliberate or in a punitive way. So it is the permanence and security of tenure features of the Weberian civil service that grants officials the experience and technical know-how to advise toddler political appointees and people who know next to nothing about the work of ministries to succeed. You would agree with me that apart from being the Attorney General that the 1992 Constitution says you have to be a lawyer, you don't need any competence to become a minister. You don't need any specialized expertise to become a minister of finance. You don't have to be trained to be a farmer. You don't have to be a farmer to become a minister for agriculture. At one point in time, Kwame Addo-Kufuor was adjudged the best minister in the Kufuor administration. And he was a minister of defense. But by training, Kwame Addo-Kufuor is a medical practitioner. So you don't need any expertise to go. I don't know why the framers of our constitution made it so. But the idea is that with your ignorance, you would go to the civil service and you meet people who were there long before you were even born. And they have been there, trained, served regimes after regimes, party after party, and because of that, they have garnered enough experience and competence. So when you go, you sit on their laps, and they will tell you what to do and what not to do. And if you are obedient, and if you are honest, you are calm, and you are receptive to learning and instruction, you would survive. Do you recall that in the days of the Bible, people were made chiefs, and they were 8 years, they were 15 years. How did they survive? How did they govern well? They did so, they governed and they ruled well because they sat on the laps of the Council of Elders, who were there in the chief's palace operating long before the chiefs were born. And so if a chief was misbehaving, they tell you, Nana Obetoye. One of the conditions of for distooling a chief was his failure to listen to the wise counsel of the Council of Elders. In the same way, if you are an appointee and you go to head a ministry, for instance, you sit on the laps of the civil servants and they will counsel you. If you are misbehaving, they would advise. And you must listen to them. But where did they get their knowledge, their experience? They had their knowledge, their competence, their technical know-how and experience because they've been there for long. Somebody finishes school, and because he was able to hurl insults at the fastest rates, his qualification for ministerial or deputy ministerial appointment is that you insulted very well, and so they appoint you as a minister. Or you went to fight in the campaign and then they almost plucked your eye, and so then it becomes a qualification for ministerial appointment. Some people could openly boast in the election petition, say, do you know how I fought for the party? I was even almost jailed because of my support for the party. And for them, this is their qualification for ministerial appointment. Such people, when they go to the civil service, they can only succeed by sitting on the laps of the civil servants. Why? These guys have been there for long, and so they have enough competence, know-how, experience, and they can advise. Another feature of the civil service is that civil servants or bureaucrats are expected to operate under the principle of anonymity. By this principle, they are expected to work hard without taking praises for whatever they do well or receiving blames for whatever they do wrong. Though some civil servants have the tendency to hide under the cloak of anonymity to ill advise their superiors. Generally, the principle of anonymity is expected to grant the necessary environment that would enable civil servants to remain focused and bold in offering candid advice and services for the use of their superiors. Now, the principle of political neutrality, the focus of today's engagement. Aristotle, according to him, he said, man is by nature a political animal. Man is by nature a political animal. The first person who told me this, quoting Aristotle, was my teacher, Evans Agredako, doctor. So to him, what makes a human being, what makes man a human being is the fact that he does politics. Stripped of the opportunity to do politics, in the view of Aristotle, will make man a beast or make him worse of a human being. So, the doing of politics by man is inalienable. Everybody must do politics, or everyone does politics. Indeed, the Greek word, and this one too, it was my teacher who told me. The Greek word, idiot, it's not a Nigerian word. It's a Greek word. The Nigerians have monopolized it and they are always. The Greek word idiot means someone who fundamentally has no appreciation of the term politics and so pretends to sit on the fence and claim that he does not do politics. If you say you don't do politics, it means you yourself, you don't even understand what politics is. So if you see some pastors, as for me here, they don't do politics. As for this place, we don't do politics. See, it betrays their fundamental ignorance about the idea of what politics is about. We try to deal with this in level 100. So if you want to understand more, come, Poly 101 will tell you what politics is about. So what even is politics? What is politics? Now, David Easton defined it as being the authoritative allocation of values in a society. Harold Laswell also said, politics means who gets what, when, and how. Now, inherent in these two definitions are the principles of voting to decide who must lead a country, and once elected, making decisions on behalf of the people. So if we all vote, it means we do politics. And if we have all at one point in time had the opportunity to take decisions on behalf of people, then we've all acted politically before. I don't know whether there is anyone seated here who say, I've never acted on behalf of anybody before. You do it in the home, you do it at the workplace, and you can do it also at the local level of politics. You can also do it at the national level. President Akufo-Addo, Parliament, all of them, they are oftentimes acting and taking decisions on our behalf. They do it at the national level amongst your children when it comes to even selecting courses that they must go and do in the university. You do it. And some of you are even want to act on their behalf in shaping how they will have to vote in the next election. Always acting on behalf of people. So, if we all do politics, we all vote, and if we all act on behalf of others, and that is political, then what did Max Weber mean when he insisted that civil servants must be politically neutral? By political neutrality, Weber did not suggest that bureaucrats should not vote. He did not also suggest that bureaucrats should not have political parties of their choice. But he meant that they should not do partisan politics while serving as bureaucrats. So there is a line of demarcation between doing partisan politics and then doing politics. This means bureaucrats should not be seen to be openly identifying with any political party though they must vote. So when you come to work as a civil servant, you have the right to vote in times of election. But we must not see you openly to be identifying with one party, either the ruling party or the opposition. They must not be appointed by politicians. They must not be seen to be supporting or campaigning for any political party. They must not be seen at party rallies. And they must not be seen to be wearing party t-shirts, party trousers, party shorts, party shoes, party boxers, party paraphernalia. So some people are even painting themselves in party colors. Party ring, party bands. If you're a civil servant, you must not be seen to be adorning yourselves with those things. So this is to enable them serve every regime that is elected well, and to shield themselves from political vendetta of politicians who may not be happy with the line of partisan support of some bureaucrats. So by this principle, civil servants must serve the government of the day, whether or not they personally support the party in power or are in accord with its policies. But unfortunately, the situation in Ghana is quite worrying. It appears that the principle of neutrality, political neutrality, is not being honored and respected. Evidence abound that regime after regime staffs the civil service with people on the clear basis of party loyalty in a manner that honors the principle of building a politically neutral civil bureaucracy in its breach. Everybody wants to appoint people and staff them into the civil service. So the civil service is pregnant with people who do nothing. The worrying trend is that sometimes this appointment of party full soldiers into the civil servant is not done, or is done without recourse to meritocracy. So as I indicated, your only qualification is to demonstrate that you're a party full soldier. Okay, and it undermines the idea of political neutrality. Secondly, the idea of political appointment or interfering in the appointment of who chief directors should be undermines the quest to make such appointees politically neutral in terms of perceptions and in terms of what they do overtly or surreptitiously. Max Weber favored the idea of people rising through the ranks to become chief directors and not the political appointment or interference in the appointment of such high-ranking officials of the bureaucracy. Now, what is even more worrying is that it appears many civil servants are either not conscious of the principle of political neutrality or have deliberately decided not to comply with its tenet. Either they don't know, if you are saying here they don't do politics here, they said, are you a villager? That is what the order of the day. So either they don't know, or some have deliberately decided that they don't want to be bothered by its basic tenets. Consequently, at the workplace, some civil servants openly show their support for political parties. Some are ahead campaigning for political parties, while others are ahead campaigning against political parties. Some do attend party rallies, while others brazenly wear party paraphernalia and do other excessively partisan activities in a manner that erodes confidence in the civil service, because in a manner that erodes confidence in the civil bureaucracy as an administrative machinery of the state positioned to serve every government of the day and the general citizenry, regardless of their party coloration. It is this knowledge of how partisan our civil bureaucracy is gradually becoming that has led to the disingenuous attempt by some politicians to strive to create a parallel civil service of their own to rival the existing civil service. They do this by recruiting consultants, advisors, and advisors to the consultants, and with all names, who are heavily paid to do the work expected to be done by the civil service. Very unfortunate. So if we do not aspire to achieve the ideals of political neutrality, every government that gets to power feels that these people, they are MPP people, or these people, they are NDC people, I cannot trust them. So they set up their own civil service. They appoint one person as an advisor to the minister, and that one person, his salary is more than 100 civil servants. One person. So advisor to the minister. Then there is the advisor's consultant. So there's an advisor to the minister, and there is somebody who is also consulting for the advisor to the minister. So advisor to the consultant. And one of them, their salary, their allowances. So if you don't check the idea of politicizing the civil service, and if you don't strive to achieve the dogmas of political neutrality of the civil servant, then people will continue to loiter around at the workplace without doing much. They will pretend to be working, and government will also pretend to be paying them. And there would always be industrial actions and threats of insurgency because civil servants will not have enough pay that can help improve their physical quality of life. See, one person takes all the money, and you are pretending to be working. They pay you pittance. And so me, I'll be happy to lead you. Let's go on demonstration. Let's go on strike. Let's do this. Because we have not even asserted that level of neutrality that would make them respect us and give us or allow us to function the way we are expected to function. And because of the disrespect that they have for us and the distrust that they have for us, they've appointed other people to be doing the very work that we are supposed to be doing. That's why you go to the various ministries, departments, and agencies, you see people moving from office to office, selling asana, cocaine, sobolo, and people are selling clothes from office, knocking from office, mewantoma, untobi, and those, they have nothing to do. People are playing draft, ludo, 6 ludo, and all that. So we are not doing so well in ensuring that we build a politically neutral civil bureaucracy. I must admit that some are trying, but others simply cannot be bothered. And these tendencies have the potency to decimate the role and credibility of the civil bureaucracy as a credible administrative machinery of the state. We must therefore begin to take a second look at the Weberian ideal of political neutrality in the civil service and fight for its strict adherence. Recently, I heard of the demand for political neutrality allowance by civil servants. Okay. If this suggests that some are truly politically neutral, then in my view, it is good. But efforts must be made to ensure that all civil servants are politically neutral. I'm also aware that the Civil and Local Governments Staff Association, CLOSAC, since 2017, has been speaking against the attempt to undermine the political neutrality of the civil bureaucracy through appointment of party functionaries. And I know the revulsion expressed by well-meaning Ghanaians following the partisan sycophantic cheering of the former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta when he arrived at the Ministry of Finance following his presentation of the 2024 budget statement. If the minister has gone to present a budget statement, so what? You are the one who advised him to go present. So why the fanful respect? The minister has come and then people are somersaulting, lying down, clapping, the minister has done well. This is too sycophantic. But we must do more. Let us push to be sure that all the features outlined by Max Weber in his postulations on the ideal type civil service are realized, and more importantly, let us fight to deal with all the traces and factors that undermine the quest to make the Ghanaian civil service politically neutral. Let us begin to question the appointment and recruitment of civil servants purely on partisan grounds, and let us push for chief directors to be made to rise through the ranks to attain such positions without political hands playing any role. Let there be a sustained education and sensitization drive among bureaucrats on the dogmas of political neutrality, and let there be rational and impersonally administered punitive consequences for failing to adhere to this principle. I believe we would make giant strides as a nation in making our civil service truly an effective administrative machinery of the state that will enjoy the respect of all politicians who ideally know nothing about the workings in the various civil bureaucracies and must always sit on the laps of civil servants to be schooled about what to do to be successful if we would insist on all the features of the Weberian ideal type bureaucracy, and with special emphasis on the need for political neutrality. You know, all over the world, see, coalition government in many countries easily crumbles. Because people come together to form a government. If they are not happy, they just pull out, and then the government will crumble. But countries that suffer coalitions crumbling sometimes are able to run on their own without government for even up to 6 months. Can you imagine? There is no president of Ghana, but the nation is running. How are they able to do that? Because they have a credible and politically neutral civil bureaucracy that can function on its own, even when they don't have government. When Donald Trump was voted out of office in his last bid to secure a second term in office, he openly indicated his intention not to leave power or vacate the White House. But the administrative machinery of the state, the civil service, or the body in charge of transition simply wrote to him and kicked him out as per its mandate. Can you imagine? Said, my friend, your term is out, so just go. Kicked him out. How do these happen? It is simple. It's because such countries have a technocratic, meritocratic, and politically neutral civil service that can keep things going even when there is crisis of governance. We must know this, we must appreciate this, and we must push hard to realize some of these ideals, particularly of political neutrality. We must not all pander to and allow the bogus practice of excessive partisanship that, in my view, breeds political madness to be festered either surreptitiously or overtly in the civil service. Let those who want to do partisan politics go do so, but let the civil bureaucracy be politically neutral in a manner akin to what Max Weber postulated. Sir, I don't know whether I've done well, but I am done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jampo. Thank you. Shall we please give him another round of applause? That was an insightful presentation. So our take-home is, in as much as we are being political, partisan politics is not, absolutely not encouraged in the civil service. Shall we give it up again? Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll be moving on to the next program. Part 2 of the program. That's the climax for our gathering here today. And I wish to acknowledge once again that leadership has thought it wise to award 6 astute members of the civil service and local government service who have distinguished themselves in the area of professionalism, leadership, loyalty, integrity, selflessness, and also an ultimate award given to an awardee for the day. We'll find out very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to acknowledge the first recipient of today's awards. Okay, so we have musical interlude whilst we welcome our awardees. Musical interlude, close up, and thank you.
Come
So much, Clocksack Band. We have come to the climax of today's ceremony, as mentioned earlier. We have here the first awardee in the person of Planner Jones Ajiman. Please, shall we have him here whilst I take the citation? Citation in honor of Planner Jones Ajiman. In recognition of your unwavering commitment, exemplary professionalism, and significant contributions of the local government service of Ghana, Clocksack confers on you this honorary award. Your professionalism, your professional journey has been characterized by steadfast dedication, outstanding performance, and a profound sense of responsibility towards the communities you have served. As the Senior Development Planning Officer of the Obuasi East District Assembly, your responsibilities have surpassed routine administrative tasks. Your leadership in formulating and executing district development plans has ensured their alignment with national objectives and tailored in response to the unique needs of the district. Your diligent coordination and facilitation of socio-economic surveys, feasibility studies, and development projects have significantly propelled the socio-economic advancement of the communities within your work area. With over 12 years of service, you have consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership, strategic acumen, and meticulous attention to detail in conceptualizing and implementing developmental initiatives. Your pivotal role in the monitoring and evaluation of significant programs have yielded invaluable insights that have enhanced decision-making at both local and national levels. Your steadfast commitment to the success of each endeavor, notwithstanding the challenges encountered, have garnered the esteem and admiration of your colleagues, superiors, and communities you serve. In appreciation of your dedication to work, Clocksack confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Awards for Professionalism 2024. To do us the honors, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the Chief Director of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council in the person of Mrs. Lillian Baker to give us to present the citation to the awardee. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you, madam. Ashes, please, can we have you help? Okay, congratulations to you. Congratulations, Mr. Ajiman. All right, next on the list, we have citation in honor of Ernest Deladem Kwakui. It is with great honor that Clocksack recognizes you for your exemplary and commendable work ethics and unwavering dedication to the Ghana Civil Service. As one of the longest-serving members of the service, rising from the sub-professional level through to the esteemed position of director, your contributions have been pivotal in advancing the objectives of this service. Your steadfast commitment to excellence is evident to all who have had the privilege of observing your work. Your selflessness, prioritizing the collective goals of the organization over personal interest, is a testament to your exceptional character. Undeniably, your diligence, dynamism, and proactive approach have consistently upheld standards of excellence, particularly in your capacity as director. Clocksack extends its profound appreciation for your exemplary dedication, recognizing the enduring impact of your contributions. This citation is presented as a token of gratitude for your remarkable service. It is with great honor that we laud you for your substantial role within the Ghana Civil Service, and CLOCSAG wholeheartedly acknowledges you to maintain your extraordinary work and unwavering commitment to excellence. In appreciation of your hard work and never-ending quest for the betterment of the service, CLOCSAG confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Award for Leadership 2024. Thank you. Congratulations. I humbly request the Chief Director, Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, in the person of Mr. Nwatumfo, to give us this honors.
For loyalty category, I welcome Madam Ruby Ya Krantiwa Akai. Okay. Citation in honor of Madam Ruby Ya Krantiwa Akai. This citation is presented in recognition of your commendable hard work and unwavering dedication to the Ghana Civil Service. Your impeccable commitment to excellence and exceptional contributions to the service are truly commendable. Your proactive approach, often transcending your assigned duties to accomplish objectives, reflects your diligence in achieving desired outcomes. Your steadfast commitment to thorough research in the pursuit of task completion is highly esteemed. It comes as no surprise that both your superiors and colleagues consistently turn to you for reliable assistance. Your proactive guidance in directing others to appropriate resources, even beyond the confines of your office, highlights your consultative nature and dedication to effective task execution. Described as an invaluable team player with unwavering discipline and principled conduct, your outstanding qualities have resulted in your exemplary achievement as an employee of the Ghana Civil Service, particularly during your tenure as the Civil Service Council Secretary spanning over 7 years. In appreciation of your hard work and never-ending quest for the betterment of the service, CLOCSAG confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Award for Loyalty 2024. Madam Ruby Ya Krantiwa, congratulations. So to do us the honor, we welcome the former head of civil service, Mr. W.K. Kemevo, to present this award. Congratulations, congratulations. Citation in honor of Caroline Ansua Kuze. It is with great honor that CLOCSAG honors you. Sorry about that. Thank you. Citation in honor of Caroline Ansua Kuze. It is with great honor that Clocksack honors you, Caroline Ansua Kuze, for your dedicated and highly professional service to the Ghana Civil Service. You exhibit exceptional commitment to the public service and national development. As a planning officer at the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, you have made significant contributions to the policy planning, monitoring, and evaluation directorates. Your efforts have been particularly influential in advancing gender-related initiatives and fostering international collaborations and compliance. Your strong work ethic and deep understanding of development issues in both the public and private sectors confirm your unwavering pursuit of excellence in coordinating and optimizing your office operation. Your expertise in project management, research, and policy support have not only improved the ministry's efficiency, but also ensured Ghana's compliance with international obligations, notably with the International Labour Organization's ILO standards. In the course of your career, you have consistently demonstrated a commitment to enhancing workplace safety, advocating for gender equity, and supporting the ministry's strategic objectives. Additionally, your contributions extend beyond your primary responsibilities with active involvement in planning, data collection, monitoring, and evaluation, all of which are vital to the success of the ministry's programs. You epitomize the values of the Ghana Civil Service through your diligence, integrity, and dedication to the public service. In appreciation of your service with integrity towards the cause of the civil service, Clocksack confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Award for Integrity 2024. Thank you so much, and to do this, we welcome the head of civil service, Dr. Evans Agridaku, to present the citation.
Of service. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we still on the awards. For selflessness, we have Madam Adiza Ibrahim. Citation in honor of Adiza Ibrahim. This citation is presented to you, Adiza Ibrahim, for your outstanding professional services to the local government service. In recognition of your exceptional dedication, hard work, selflessness, initiative, and commitment to work as the Human Resource Manager of the Bia East District Assembly, Clocksack awards you for your vital role in implementing human resource policies and improving staff capabilities. Your perseverance and high sense of selflessness have greatly contributed to the district's successes. With a humble beginning in the service as a sub-professional, you worked assiduously into the professional cadre over the past 12 years. You have shown exemplary dedication to ensuring efficiency and professionalism in all aspects of your work at your current posting. Through your proactive approach, expertise, and continuous improvement, you have made a lasting impact on the service, which is worthy of emulation and the symbol of a brighter future. Today, we honor your hard work and selflessness, which have set a high standard for your colleagues and the entire local government service. We encourage you to persist in your exceptional work and to continue making a positive impact in all your endeavors. In appreciation for your selfless contribution to the course of the local government service, CLOCSA confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Awards for Selflessness 2024. Pleased to do us this honor, we have our president for CLOCSAG, Mr. Benjamin Aka Otu, to present this award. Congratulations. Congratulations, Madam Adiza Ibrahim.
And now the ultimate award. We welcome Mr. Raphael K. Tufuo as the ultimate winner. Please give it up. He deserves it. Please give it up for him. Congratulations, sir. Citation in honor of Mr. Raphael K. Tufuo. It is with great honor that CLOCSAG recognizes you, Mr. Raphael K. Tufuo, whose distinguished career has had a lasting impact on Ghana's public finance and governance. As part of Controller and Accountant General, you introduced reforms that modernize public financial management, enhancing transparency and accountability. Your leadership ensured that state resources were efficiently allocated to critical sectors, laying the groundwork for sustainable development. Your active years in public service saw remarkable improvements in tax administration and compliance, contributing to the growth of domestic revenue, which became critical in funding national development projects. You were instrumental in steering the country's revenue mobilization efforts towards greater effectiveness and sustainability. Your strategic oversight helped enhance the capacity to adopt modern technologies and practices, making tax collection more transparent and efficient. Beyond finance governance, your mentorship has fostered a culture of excellence and integrity in public service. Your contributions to public sector reforms, corporate governance, and fiscal responsibilities remain a cornerstone of Ghana's development. In honor of your remarkable achievement, CLOCSAG profoundly and proudly confers on you the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence Award for the overall ultimates for 2024. Congratulations, sir. You deserve it. To do us the honor, we welcome the chairman for Civil Service Council Justice, retired Rose Constance Owusu, to present the citation for him. Please give it a round of applause to her as she comes. Congratulations, sir. You deserve it. Thank you so much for contributing to Ghana's development. We welcome the awardee. We welcome the awardees to give us a brief statement.
Thank you very much. I've been asked to give a brief statement. Before I do that, if you allow me, can I kindly request all the awardees to come forward? I have to do that because we've all been schooled by Dr. Jampo that we are doing things on behalf of people. So there must be appearance of democracy. Yeah. We are very, very grateful to all of you present and those on the internet for this pleasant and surprising award. I hope I'm speaking on your behalf. I am particularly delighted because I happen to be young. If I had not been young, I don't think that I would have had this reward. I look at others who had gone, Dr. Dudu, Professor Mills, Quao himself, and many others who had left. And those who did not even rise to the level that some of us had, but who, I believe, if they had not been there in our lives, we could not have been here. There are some people here, I believe, I remind them of their past, but it is good to do that. We just heard of Dr. Bampuado. His father was our mentor. His daughter is sitting between a woman who gave me the prize and a man who taught Dr. Bampu. You know, he was such a wonderful man. And even after retirement, he will invite you almost on every homework to school you what is meant to be a good public servant. And there are many more of such people. I don't, if I have to mention names, it will take me a very long time. I don't want to be stirred by a prominent member. The W doesn't stand for wicked, and the K doesn't stand for anything, but otherwise WK squared, you know, by his, we would not call him WK what? Chemical. He's a very known person when he was in office. You know. But from experience, Dr. Jampo, I may not agree with you. You see, the ministries, departments, and agencies, the more they drift from the ministry, the richer they become. And that has been my observation. Public Works Department, it was under ministry. State Transport, it was a department under a ministry. Now, when they became agents, is that right? They became richer than those at the civil service. And that one we should look at. Another one that we should look at is the way we have drifted from the core act or the law. The accountants, some of them are sitting here. You will see that in those days, if you went on retirement and you were called back, like I was called back, you will come back as a deputy. You won't go to substantial post. So there'll be, unless you were actually needed, you won't come back to the post. Another matter which actually comes under our rule is the issue of retirement. We are looking at retirement as if it is salary. If I can give an example, somebody's name can be on the payroll for 100 years in Ghana based on our laws. And we can always want more to be added. I can give a very good example. Unless perhaps people may feel bad. You can see me, but I can give an example. It is very, very common. Is that right? Somebody's name can be on the payroll, 3 government payrolls, one name appears 3 times, and it's genuine. Nothing is wrong. It is what? Legitimate. I think these are the areas that we can do. So when we save more money, we can then get more pay for the civil servant. Because it is the government does nothing. Even just sit down, and the payroll is just bloating. Not for recruitment, not for higher salaries, but because those of us on retirement are getting more money. I think we have to look at it. Otherwise, we shall behave like France. One day, 2 years ago, you saw a very massive demonstration. They were giving people more money than they deserve. On that note, I would like to, unless, of course, my attendees to have something to say. Just presentation. Oh, thank you very much. They have given me approval to say that. We are very, very grateful to the organizers, to your head. And when I was leaving the house today, one of my siblings said, if it hadn't been this organization, you would not have worn this dress. And I said, why? He said, well, since you left office, you have been wearing some wonderful things, but now you can put on your new dress. And so I wish that you invite me more so that I can also come out. We thank you very much. We are very grateful for what you have done, and we pray that you assist us to assist you in our future development. Thank you. And before we sit down, I've consulted, and they have agreed that they would like one music to be played for all of us. And I believe they can do it. It's a very simple song. Manu Nyeyi, I think you can sing that one.
Shall we have the Civil Service Council join the awardees for a picture? Civil Service Council. Civil Service Council. Civil Service Council. Picture with the awardees. please, with the awardees, all dignitaries present. All dignitaries present.
If I do,
controllers and deputy controllers, please join. Please join in the picture taking. Controllers and deputy controllers, please join in the picture taking. All dignitaries should join the awardees. Thank you.
It's like tender lightning. The way you love it is frightening. I better not. Take no chance with you. You got me, baby. Baby, I'm in a trance. 'Cause your love feels better than any love I know. It's like tender lightning. The way you love me.
Right, next we have national executives. Our dish is still remain. Our dish, please remain. Our dish, please remain. Our dish, please remain. National executives. Roxanne National Executives.
There's no secret.
Roxanne National Executives.
The woman, she is my loving heart. 'Cause she sees to it. Like tender lightning, the way you love it is frightening. I better knock on, baby. Better knock. Oh yeah. I better knock.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Blacksack Band. Thank you. And congratulations to all our awardees for the 2024 awards. Thank you, and God bless us all. All too soon, we are drawing the curtains down for this remarkable 2024 Nathan Anang Quao Award ceremony. And I've been your MC, together with my co-MC Beatrice Bampo Ado. I'm Anoko Ado. I hand over the mic to her for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift without presenting it. On behalf of the Executive Secretary of CLOCSAC and the organizing body of the 7th Nathan Anang Quao Excellence and Lecture Awards, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for being part of this program. Our deepest appreciation goes to our distinguished guest, Professor Jampo. Thank you so much. Your presence was warming and insightful. We also extend our gratitude to all esteemed dignitaries. I cannot mention all the names. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I would be failing in my duty if I don't thank you, the participants here, to our media personalities. I see TV3, yeah, thank you so much. I see other media partners as well. Thank you so much. And to our audience on TV and on Facebook, YouTube, we thank you. Without your presence, this wouldn't have been successful. Thank you.
We call on Pastor Bayo to give us the closing prayer. Meanwhile, we are advised that the dignitaries will use this exit. Please, let's all remain seated as the dignitaries exit. Thank you.
Hi. Shall we please pray? Shall we please rise as we pray? Our Father, we want to thank you for the success of this program. And now we pray that for every one of us, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. You are blessed. Let's share the goodness together. Show Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forever. Amen. Be blessed.
Please, let's all remain seated whilst the dignitaries exit. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Okay. There's a new world somewhere they call the promised land, and I'll be there someday. If you will hold my hand, I still need you there beside me. No matter what I do, but I know I'll never find another you. There is always somewhere for each of us, they say, and you'll be my someone forever and a day. I could search the world over until my life is through, but I know I'll never find another you. It's a long, long journey, so stay by my side. When I walk through the storm, you be my guide, be my guide. If they give me a fortune, my pleasure will be small, for I could lose it all tomorrow.